I got to give you guys an update on what's happening in the migrant crisis. Now, I know that y'all said that Anton probably forgot about the migrant crisis. He don't talk about it anymore. That's not necessarily true. It's just that it's not been the hot story because there's been so many other things that's happening in order to keep us distracted from the things that's actually meaningful in these streets. You know what I'm saying? But the migrant crisis is very much up, well, and running. Sanctuary cities are still taking in all of your new constituents that's going to be determining your elections and taking your jobs. And they found new border hotspots in order to cross. And they've even made sure that schools cancel their graduations because they refuse to leave these areas in which they say that they don't want to be in a hotel anymore. They want to be unhoused. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. The migrant crisis is up and well and running. Let's continue.
A New York City soccer game, club game, got canceled over the weekend after a group of migrants refused to leave the field. You know, illegal immigrants, even after police were called. The field sits near two major illegal immigrant shelters with multiple reports of violence. Our next guest is a New York City youth soccer coach who says the same thing happened to him and to his team. Outreach U NYC co-founder George Lanisi joins us now. George, when you read the story, you related to it, right?
Yes, actually we're a youth football program, and yeah, we could relate to it. We showed up early to set up the field, and when we got on the field, there was a full soccer game going on.
And you knew these players didn't belong out there, right? It was a pickup game.
Exactly, it was a pickup game. So the co-founder of About You and president of the Harlem Jets, Alex Coombs, walked up to the guy running it and told him that we had a field. The field showed him our permit, and he refused to get off the field. And it ensued to an argument for about 15 minutes, and finally me and another coach just started lining up the cones right across the field, and they started to walk off.
So you got through this. Now, this case, they waited there. They told the kids to get off. The NYPD told them to get off. They still didn't get off. They said, where's your permit? No one really travels to the field with their permit, but the assistant coach got it. They came back, they had the refs, and they did it. And after all this, the parents said, you know what, I don't feel safe here. These guys aren't leaving the sideline. They pulled their kids off. Now think about that, how hard it is to get a field, to get kids together, 40 kids together, to go play a soccer game, a bunch of soccer games in one day, and then the kids have to go home because of this.
Yes, the problem with it is that a lot of people don't have the perspective of what it's like in New York City. If you live in the suburbs, there's fields all over the place. It's hard to get a field in New York City, so there's a permit system. And when you're going out there and all of a sudden your game gets canceled because people won't get off the field that don't have a permit, it's heartbreaking because the kids in New York City just went through all this with COVID. We were the last to bring back sports. Now it's going round two with other people, other than kids, are being put first.
What about?
They don't care nothing about your system. They don't care about your rules. Listen, they ain't got no jobs. They ain't got nothing to do. They getting free benefits. They getting free health care. Their kids is in school. You over there trying to follow the rules, and they say, hey, man, listen, hey, you know you messed up, and you know we in the backward system. Man, that chick down there her body is banging. So I'm right by the window, so I got a little bit of a view of all of the people that be walking their little doggy. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get a little bit distracted and I get thrown off. If you want me to do the Millionaire Morning Show with no problems and you don't want me to get thrown off from what's happening in these streets, then do not, I repeat, do not put me in front of a window where people can walk past and take their doggies on a little walk. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want me to get distracted, if you don't want me to have inspiration, then put me in a windowless room and tell me to do my show without any kind of distractions. Otherwise, I'm going to look. I'm sorry. I know a lot of y'all have trained yourselves to do like this. When y'all see something that y'all like, I go over there and I be like, this is an interesting product right here. I would like to know more about it to see what's going on out in these streets. Anyways, let's not be distracted. So, we know migrants is kicking people off the foot, off the soccer field, and they doing their thing. They checking y'all. They say, listen, where your permit at, homie? Where your permit at? Yakar said something in the chat. He said, let me tell you something, bro. They not doing this. They're not. Y'all want me to, Quentin, want to put me back by the graffiti wall? Quentin, really? 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 Now I got to go back and do my show back there. I got to go back to the graffiti wall. I was thinking that this was a good view because I got all of this sunlight. Y'all want me to go back to the graffiti wall, huh? Okay, I promise to do better. I promise to do better, okay? Just how y'all permits when these migrants come and check y'all, though.
As Texas steps up its efforts to secure the southern border, the migrant crisis is shifting west. For the first time in decades, San Diego is now the top hotspot for migrant apprehensions. It has overtaken Tucson with nearly 20,000 reported encounters over the last 2 weeks.
Let's look at these numbers really quickly. Migrant apprehensions at the southern border over the last 2 weeks. This is not migrants that actually made it in there or migrants that attempted to cross. This is the apprehensions at the southern border. Week of April 10th through the 16th, that's 7 days. In Tucson, 7,500 people. Another week, April 17th through the 23rd, the week after, 7,600 people. In San Diego, 9,000 people. Week after, 9,500 people that were apprehended over the border over the last 2 weeks. Jesus Christ. I got some pull down shades. I got some blackout pull down shades. I'm going to leave them up though. This is what's happening over at the San Diego and Tucson border.
Let's bring in California Republican Congressman
No,
Darrell
Nike,
Issa,
tell him don't
who
send me
serves
into
on
the-
the House Foreign
don't send me
Affairs
into the
Committee.
corner.
Congressman, thank you. Why do you think San Diego is now a preferred illegal crossing point?
Because there's no attempt to stop the people. San Diego used to be the preferred area, and then we put up the wall. We were the first to have a border fence, and then the first to have a triple border fence. But now that the gates are open, and contrary to the previous segment you just had on, when I've met with people at the border from multiple countries, including China, Russia, and so on, they have said,
Sister, this is just the people that got apprehended. This is not the ones that actually made it over.
they're here for jobs. They haven't said to me, and I'm there with translators, they haven't said they're here seeking asylum, and they still get to stay in. The policy today, they may say that they deport a great many, but the reality is they just have to show up and they're welcomed in. Until we return to Mexico, which we have a right to do, we are going to continue to have it. And like I say, a fence does no good if the gates open with a welcome mat.
Hey, remember when they used to tell us that they were asylum seekers? Gosh, where's all of these girls coming from? What the freak is going on? All right, I'm about to pull these shades down and turn some more. I like the natural light. The natural light makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to do the things that I'm gonna do on a regular basis. This is why I got my desk set up the way that it is. But I don't know where all of these tricks is coming from. And all of them got mutts that they walk in. But remember when they used to say asylum seekers? Remember that? They didn't used to say, oh my God, now it's just, look, we just coming in for jobs. We ain't even got to say what we here for. We coming over here in order to get this money, get this work, get this health care, get this free education, and get these hotel rooms and get these jobs. That's what they coming over here for. They ain't even trying no more. They ain't even hiding. The reason that they're not seeking asylum, they're not running from nobody, they're running from themselves.
And so I understand your point that it's policy that needs to be changed. In the meantime, what adjustments will San Diego Border Patrol agents make in response to this surge?
Well, the brave men and women, not only of the Border Patrol, but of ICE and Coast Guard, they're spending most of their time and most of their effort, and it is productive, but it's against the tide. They're going after fentanyl. They're going after methamphetamines. San Diego's the #1 importing area for drugs. And I have 100 miles of the Mexican border, along with one other congressman for all of San Diego County. Whether they come in through the water, they come in around the fence, out in the desert, we have an onslaught of that. Every month, thousands of pounds are seized just inside trucks that are trying to get in with false floors and false walls. That's the epidemic that at least the men and women of these agencies are still able to do something about. But if we're not able to stem the flow, there's an awful lot of backpacks full of drugs that are getting in, and it's
crazy.
poisoning. Over 100,000 Americans will die this year from fentanyl alone.
Maybe it's population
And
control.
besides policy change, does San Diego need more federal aid? And if so, in what form?
No, we're a sanctuary state. We've asked for it. Our $73 billion deficit speaks legions when you're in the highest tax state in the union. So quite frankly, it is not appropriate to send money to a state that is part of the problem, not part of the solution. If you want to send money, send it to Texas, who's trying to do the right thing against against a president who won't let them do it. That would be where I would send the aid. I'd send the aid to the National Guards and so on that are at least having some success in keeping at least some of the criminal element out of Texas.
Could you imagine being in a $78 billion deficit, but continuing to just go down the same path that got you there in the first place? We had a show, I believe it was on Friday or Thursday. I believe it was Friday. We had a show on Friday that basically broke down, where I broke down to you guys the credit rating system when it comes to these cities, exactly how they get these deficits, legacy operations that they're continuing to pay for, including pensions, how difficult it is for them to continue to maintain a tax base when the tax revenue is not still coming in the same way that it used to. And it's even more exaggerated in certain places that don't even take tax revenue, but it's bad. It's absolutely bad all across America. So many different cities, including cities in border towns and the Floridas, the Texas. Houston already said that they broke. We're going to go over a story today where it's a lot of stuff that's happening down in Houston. I heard that the turkey leg hut caught on fire the other day. I know that that's completely irrelevant, but I heard that the turkey leg hut caught on fire. I'm looking for information on that before I cover the whole story, because they're going to say, Anton, you always against it. No, I'm not. I just cover the stories that make the national news. That's important in order for us to add value into y'all life, to tell y'all what to do or what not to do. But my point is that we are operating at a massive deficit inside of the United States of America, including California. California is one of the worst perpetuators of using resources from taxpayers to do things that's not in the best interest of taxpayers. But we're going to continue to go down this path because nobody wants to hold anybody accountable. And it's unfortunate that this is happening to the American people, because you guys deserve better. You absolutely, positively deserve better. But I'm going to keep my foot on their neck. And I'm going to keep y'all up to date on what's going on with these migrant hotspots and these border crossings. And I call it a migrant crisis.